Yo, what's going on, AJ?
Yo, what's up, man? I see you're drinking that Dunkin' Donuts coffee sponsored by NASCAR gasoline.
Yeah, no, it is the strongest coffee on the face of the planet. If anyone gets Dunkin' Donuts out there, I get a large iced coffee with half the ice, black, and a turbo shot, which basicly means
I don't recommend it.
It's rocket fuel.
It's basically it powers those like gasoline powered what are they called? Like RC cars.
It powers
basically the same shit.
It also powers me,
and you drink it
and gives
like
me
3 times a day. Yes, I almost had a heart attack when I visited you.
I'm always kind of wondering if I'm dying. Let's be fair.
I think I know why.
Nice. Well, screw it, man. Let's start the show.
Let's go.
We're still here. How do we start the show? Let's see. Oh, here it is. What do I do without you? This is PSVR GamesCast Live, where we film live. Not just we collectively. Don't ask. I don't know. It's one of those days. My heart's going every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on PSVR without Parole, 6 p.m. Eastern. If you don't want to watch it live, no big deal. You can miss out on all the fun. You can watch it later on YouTube or listen to it on podcast services of your choice. Trust me, if you have a choice, you've got a lot of them. I've never heard of most of them, but we're there. My name is Brian Paul from this channel right here, PSVR without Parole, and this gentleman over here to my right every Monday is AJ from the Underground, PSVR Underground.
What is up, Brian? What is up, Game Cats? It's so nice to see you. How was your weekend, guys? Did you have a great weekend? I had a great weekend, a PSVR gaming-filled weekend. I got the Lucky's Tale Platinum. Let's go. Fun fact, there's only 4 people that have the Lucky's Tale Platinum, and they're all Game Cats. Let's go, fam. Let's get it.
Funner fact, only 7 people bought the game. And they're all Game Cats.
It does tell you it's like 4 achievers, and that's like, I think it's at like 10%.
Right. Does it say all of them are on your friends list? Is that what it says?
Pretty much. Then I played the hell out of the No Man's Sky update, man. Oh, so good. That No Man's Sky. So awesome. Brand new ships, solar ships. And then I did Viewer's Choice Saturday, which was a lot of fun. And man, like Trackmania Turbo, if you know, you know. That was some crazy shit.
Wait, now hold on a second. I feel like you have shit on Trackmania Turbo prior to this. Have your thoughts changed?
I have in the past. No. Okay. Okay, so like the craziest thing happened, and it was like a movie where like imagine a movie about being in a video game and then you're like escaping the video game. That happened in VR. It was amazing. If you know, you know, man. Tune in every Saturday, 8 o'clock for now.
I mean, all I can say is that story sounds infinitely more interesting than whatever we're about to talk about. So let's just cancel the show and go watch the stream. Speaking of escaping a movie, I watched The Batman.
Oh, how did you like the movie?
I mean, so much better than that one. Like I still hate the Bane one more than any other Batman movie, and it's mostly Bane's fault. So, like, let's be.
I just love Bane, man. Yeah, the movie wasn't that great, but I love Bane.
Yeah,
greatest villain ever.
I know you had already gone to the theater to see the Batman, and so I was patiently waiting for it to come to HBO Max, and last night, it was like, 11 o'clock at night, and I was thinking, it premieres in 3 hours, because it's like midnight Pacific time, but 3:01 Eastern time. And I was like, I can stay up for 3 more hours, or 4 more hours. What I didn't consider was that when you stay up till 3 to watch a movie, and the movie's 3 hours long, you really have to stay up till 6 a.m. And I wasn't prepared for that. So I had to like watch part of it last night and then part of it today. And I was happy with it. Like it's super
okay.
emo gothic and fucking dark as all
which
hell.
is why I thought you were gonna love it.
Yeah, and I did. I really enjoyed it, but man, it takes its time to get where it's going. I would have chopped if I was editing that movie. I would have chopped an hour out of it probably. But and I don't know. I think it maybe just took too much time to get where it was going. But I mean, I didn't have any like real problems with it. I thought it was fine. Enjoyable.
I think we could both agree that we would love a PSVR2 game set in that universe with like a horror detective twist.
Yeah,
action.
And I want to be the Riddler.
That makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm. I want to torment the Batman. I want to fuck with him. But before we get this show started, AJ, we got a couple things to take care of. First and foremost, J Meow with the $2 tip said, Did Brian tell you that I said hi? Yes, I did. I told you.
Sure
I said hi.
did. He fulfilled your promise 30 seconds before the show started.
Yeah, it was about 30 seconds after you tipped and asked. But then he tipped again with a $2 tip. Says, FYI, if you didn't play Wanderer yet, you should. That is probably the most important thing that J Meow will ever tell you. Trust me, I've talked to J Meow a lot. That's pretty much the extent of it.
Yeah, I did.
Wanderer's amazing.
It is, and I did my interactive chat last Thursday, and that was the number one. That's so far my game of the year right now. Not Zenith. I know, crazy, right? Not Moss Book 2. I know, it's crazy. Wanderer is that good, and it's a puzzle game.
Yeah,
let that sink in.
I'm with you. Even though I rated Zenith higher, I think my only big issue with Wanderer were the bugs, and they've put out so many patches since launch, and it plays really, really well now. I don't know if there's any still like major persisting bugs, but man, if they've ironed all those out, Wanderer, in my opinion, will go down as one of the best games of the PlayStation VR 1 generation.
Definitely.
AJ, it's Monday, and as much as we like to thank all the people who support us on patreon.com/withoutparolegames, the people who get their name on that list down there for $3 a month, or get voice chat for $3 a month, or get access to all the upcoming exclusive Patreon videos for $5 a month, there's a whole other group of people we like to thank, isn't there?
That's right. We would like to thank those who support us in another way by changing their name to something GameCat related, or something GameCat adjacent, as something GameCat adjacent like to say. And this week, we have one new GameCat to welcome to the Gamecat Dojo. Starting with, and ending with, Serial Killer, the original Peeps only GameCat. Bing. No longer trademarked. I guess he let the trademark run out.
Yeah. I mean, he was actually infringing on someone else's trademark, so he had to let it go, unfortunately. But yeah, dude. So guys, if you guys love us almost as much as we love you, make sure you put hashtag GameCat in the comments below after you change your name to GameCat, and so we can give you a shout out now that we're actually doing this again on every Monday show. GameCat's, of course, the logo following Without Parole.
Spoiler: you will never love us as much as we love you. Sorry.
That's probably true. It's probably true. Thank you so much, Serial Killer, and thank you to all the Game Cats out there. And don't think I haven't been paying attention. Some of y'all changed your name back from Game Cat. I notice. I see these things. I'm like, that person's no longer a Game Cat. Don't think you're getting away with it. I'm paying attention. All right, man. We got a ton of news to talk about today. We're going to talk a little bit about that Meta Showcase happening on Wednesday because, of course, it does pertain to us. We're going to talk a little bit about First Contact Entertainment, that Variety PSVR2 article that I'm sure got lots of lovely comments from our community, and, of course, Moss Book 2 sales. But first, we got to check in with our Discord. Remember, guys, if you're not already a member of our Discord, click the link in the description below and join us over there and become a member of our community, where you can leave your viewer takeover questions that we might answer on the show, or seek the tethered Game Cats question. He writes, hashtag viewer takeover. Following that abandoned PSVR sequels video, do you think announcing your game is with episode 1 and the rest could come later could actually hurt sales?
And the rest will come later. Yeah, nobody likes when a thing is called episode 1. They want a full game. They've made that. People have been vocal about that for like years.
Yeah,
and it doesn't even matter. Your game could be 10 minutes. 10 hours, 15 hours. If you call it episode 1, people are going to think it's like 2 hours long or less.
Right. It's like it's nice to hear that studios are ambitious and that they have a lot planned for their game, or their IP, and say, oh, after this first game is out, we're gonna make this game and that sequel, whatever. Just fucking focus, man. Like the thing that we've learned so much in the PSVR 1 generation is that, like, if you're too ambitious and you can't stay focused on the project at hand, or if you're too ambitious and you're thinking it'll sell more than it will, then you could just be a flop right out of the gate. And calling it episode 1, as AJ said, makes it sound like you're not getting the full game. I think a lot of people, like when they downloaded episode 1,
the full experience.
Yeah, I think a lot of people thought that they were going to get episode 2 and 3 and 4 for free, like that they were buying into something bigger, and then like with free updates, they would be getting the rest of the game, which isn't even how it was going to work. So there's a lot of different ways for attaching that episode 1 or chapter 1 or whatever to the end of your name. It could really screw you over in a lot of different ways. So yes, to answer your question, I think it's a horrible idea, and I think it's at this point generally only done when you absolutely have to do it. We heard some, with Camouflage talking to Ryan Payton. Sorry, wind howling on my end. Can you hear that? It sounds like it's like whistling. Holy shit, it's loud ass wind.
Good to hear too.
Nice. I need it, man. Windows open. I needed the cold air to come rushing in and shit because it's just, I don't know, stale air in here. But if you go back and if you listen to Ryan Payton talk about Republic, that game just was not going to get made unless he divided it up into chapters. Like it was supposed to be put out all in one game, and then it wasn't until like super late in the development cycle they were like, we need to chop this up or we are going to go under before we even are able to publish it. So sometimes it's done by necessity, and I would like to think that that's the only reason studios do it these days, because just no one's like, yes, an episode 1 game. I'm so excited.
You know what you need to do? You need to just release the game and call it like chapter 2 or something, or episode 2. No, just call it 2. Like, I don't know. People will think that it's a bigger and better sequel. They won't be like, oh, this is just part 1 or whatever. They'll just be like, oh, they'll go straight to it. There you go.
I remember there was some theory out there a while back that people actually would gravitate more towards sequels than the originals. So that's actually not a horrible idea. I don't know. I'm going to start calling Gamescast Live Part 2.
Right.
This has to be better than the first part. We saw it. It was terrible. Well, let's move on, man. On Wednesday, we're going to have we're having an interesting showcase. It's weird that the thing we're most excited about for the week doesn't fall under the PlayStation moniker at all, but instead under the competitors label, and that's the Meta Showcase that's happening on Wednesday. We've been hearing some mixed things about this, right? We've kind of been getting little bits and pieces about what we're going to see.
We've been hearing quite a bit, actually. There's been some accidental leaks. There's been some announcements that even happened today.
Poor Skydance.
Poor Skydance. But there's also a little bit more that's been announced today. And yeah, I mean, typically when we see these showcases, you and I and the cats, we enjoy these because we tend to get a good bit of the releases as well. So, no promises that's how this one's going to play out. Right. But yeah, this is definitely a fun one to tune in. It's kind of a almost like a platform agnostic event in some ways.
Yeah, in some ways for sure. There could very well be some exclusives revealed.
Right.
I mean, if they go this long, if they don't show off San Andreas at this event, I'm going to be like, what the hell are you guys doing over there? You announced it during your Facebook Connect event or whatever it was with the logo, and you still haven't shown a single screenshot of it, to prove that it's in development or give us something to be excited about. So, for all the Quest owners out there who are like, oh man, Grand Theft Auto would be great in VR. I think they need to deliver at least a teaser or a trailer or something on that for them. But yeah, a lot of these games are going to be multi-platform, although it's a strange time, man. I will say it's a very, very strange time because I don't know if you noticed over the last couple of days, but over at Game Dust, they announced Jupiter Grad 2. Right. And as simple as that game is, it's a simple looking game. It runs no problem on PlayStation VR, even on the OG PS4, and they did not announce a PSVR 1 version of that game. So we are in strange times, kind of a holding pattern almost, while we wait for PSVR 2.
Yeah, we're in kind of a transitional period, which we have been saying that for like a year and a half, but it's starting to feel like that.
It's starting to feel painful is how it feels. So yeah, the titles that we are 100% aware of that we know are coming to this event. So we have no idea how many there will be total, but the 3 we're aware of are Saints and Sinners Chapter 2, Among Us VR, and we do know that Among Us VR is definitely coming to PSVR1. Saints and Sinners has not announced platforms yet. And then today we saw that Stress Level Zero tweeted that we will be seeing 90 seconds of their 4th game. It'll be a reveal of their 4th game, and those are the guys, of course, behind Boneworks.
Right, and the significance here. So first of all, there was like kind of a leak about Among Us VR possibly being released in like November or something. You think we get a release date during this, or like a release window?
I think we're going to get a release window or a release date, and I don't think it's going to be November. I can't. I see. The thing about Among Us is that unless they're trying to go for some holiday sale thing, because it's geared toward kids, even though adults like it. I could see them sort of trying to take advantage of the holiday, sales rush, and
yeah.
But I just don't. Yeah. It's one of those games that spreads with word of mouth, and I think that the earlier they get it out, the better they'll do sales wise. I don't think they're going to slow down. I think they're actually going to they'll just keep snowballing and picking up sales throughout the course of the holiday. And it's not that complicated of a game. Like, first of all, it's made by Shell, who is like a very competent studio and can kind of make kick-ass games, as we've seen. And like, if you've ever played Among Us flat screen, it's pretty simple. They don't have like this monumental task ahead of them. They just need to make a polished version of that flat screen game in VR. So I just don't see how it could possibly be coming in November. Like, the thing must be done by now. They've got to be just sitting on it. To me, I'm like, I hope it's one of those and it's out right now announcements.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the announcement was kind of early to build investment and stuff like that. So
it's possible. Yeah, you're right.
There's no reason they wouldn't do that. But and then you said Saints and Sinners Chapter 2. Well, let me tell you, I don't think they've announced official platforms yet. Well, obviously we know one of them, which is
Quest.
Meta. It could be Meta Quest 2. It could also be if I'm curious to see if they announce the Meta Cambria, or whatever, the Quest 3, whatever the next headset is going to be, and to see if it's like developed for that. But it seems like it'll just be like a at least a Quest 2 game, which it looked really good. And I'm really, really excited about this. Obviously, this is one of the best games on PlayStation VR, and on VR every platform. I don't think you'll find many people that disagree, regardless of the platform. So this will be really cool to see. The first, what happened was it leaked that it was they announced it was like a YouTube channel or something that went up, and they are going to show the first official, I guess, gameplay trailer or whatever. It's just, they said debut trailer, so I don't know if there'll be gameplay in there. Hopefully there is, but yeah, the original, probably one of those "Howdy tourist, welcome back tourist" kind of videos with some dialogue and whatnot, and get probably a little look at what to expect. And I'm really excited. All we know right now is that there's a chainsaw on the front cover, and that that is pretty awesome. That's something I definitely would have wanted.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it was Wes and I on Wednesday talking about like just all of our concerns and hopes for the game, and more of the same with Saints and Sinners is not a bad thing. If there's just like a ton more things to craft, a ton more upgrades to create, a ton more weapons, then and here you go. Here's a bunch of new environments, as you and I have discussed prior. Like we've already been teased.
Which you guys covered Wednesday as well. Wes was talking about how you're going to be on the French Quarter and stuff, and kind of it's probably going to be. It'll be. I would love to be in the city environment. Yeah, I totally agree. That's been something I've been saying. City woods would be like terrifying as hell. A fresh look, same game with some new mechanics, new things to tinker with, and then like some new looking environments would be great. It'd go a long way.
Two things before we move on from this topic. GC13 and Diet Pepsi Cat from Skydance. That's Tiff. She says the whole game, knowing my hatred of this in Saints and Sinners 1, is in front of the radio, and you have to find yourself a way to unchain yourself. Yep. Yeah.
Plot twist. They designed that just for you.
Yep. It's now Saints and Sinners Chapter 2. Saw. just changing the radio. We also got a tip from Waleed is now a Gamecat, specifically a White Tiger with a Canadian $2 tip, says, I expect Sony to respond to Meta with a PSVR2 event. I would say it's safe. And if you guys saw Friday's show with me and Miles, we were talking about the ideal PSVR2 launch and how to lead up to it properly. And I think the next few months we're going to really see what Sony's made out of. We're going to see because at this point, we kind of expect that PSVR2 is 10 to 11 months away at most. Like the countdown has begun. It's no longer a year away. It's getting closer and closer with every week. And so now is the time to kind of start building hype. And I'm curious to see if they're going to do the thing that I thought they would do and be like, hey, let's talk about the headset. And then later they go, let's talk about, the UI. And then let's talk about the games and whatever and space out through the course of the month or the year. But we'll see, man. We'll see. They've got a big chunk of time to keep everybody excited throughout that course of time. It's going to be difficult.
I just, again, from my peoples, I haven't heard anything regarding this month, and it's not really Sony style to do something like the week of or the same day of, like something like a Meta showcase. But they'll probably be watching this showcase as well, take some notes from it, and at least their VR or marketing division should, and gauge the response of what people are saying and talking about this one. And they're sitting there with their finger on the red button. Of course, they're still connecting a couple wires and whatnot, but yeah, I think they'll go pretty big at some point, and we'll get. It could happen really at any moment. After, I'd say I could see it happening within anywhere from the next few weeks to the next couple months. Somewhere it's going to go down. They do like the beginning of the month a lot of the times for showcases, beginning and middle. So we'll keep an ear out next month. At least I'll be keeping my ear out next month, middle. Beginning or something to see if they respond so quickly.
And I'm going to be doing what? You're like, at least I'll be paying attention. Brian's going to be sleeping. Don't mind him. There are rumblings, man. There are definitely rumblings of an event. But that's as far as I want to go with that for now.
Yeah.
And it's coming. It's starting to come in from all angles too, all sides. So, but who knows, man? Who knows? I don't want.
I have a feeling some of these insider people, they got confused with the Meta showcase. And they're like, PSVR2 events happening. They kind of pointed towards this week, and I'm like, I think you mean the Meta showcase. We'll see.
It's interesting. I got to go back and look at some of those people and see what they've been saying, and then compare. But anyway, hey, speaking of next gen VR gaming, man, a little bit more news. This is weird. It was funny because I thought we just talked about this, literally 2 or 3 months ago, but we haven't talked about this since September of last year, and that's that First Contact Entertainment is going to have a PSVR2 title, which this comes from PlayStationLifestyle.net. I'm going to bring that up because for whatever reason I forgot what the official statement was. Here, you know what? Let's just bring it up so that everybody. Didn't somebody look at a listing or something and it literally says just unannounced PSVR2 title under the job listing or something like that? I'm sure it's something like that.
Or was it somebody's LinkedIn profile that had it said game director? Is that Shabs? Was that Shabs LinkedIn or something, and it had a tag for unannounced PSVR2 title? I hope it's Firewall 2, man. I would love for it to be Firewall 2. Petrifying Pumpkins just tweeted about not too long ago, saying that he jumped back into Firewall the other day, and that it was still populated. That he immediately got into matches and stuff, and I try to tell people all the time that like, yeah, like this game is whether whether people are talking about it or not, people are playing it, and I think that's what it matters the most. I think this game was this is one of the rare games that's like it's a PlayStation built IP, or it's a built IP for PlayStation that wasn't attached to any really popular name, although it has some similarities to popular games. But yeah, it's like a headset seller that wasn't a previously known IP. So I think that's not easy to do, and like I try to give it as much praise as I can. But would you want it to be Firewall 2, or would you want it to be something else?
I mean, that's kind of a loaded question. And before I answer it, while I think about it, I do want to say that, it's so crazy that whenever I hear people complain about Firewall, they are saying, it's like a lobby simulator or whatever. And like every time I've jumped in, I have jumped in and done a public match just by myself, and within seconds, I've got a game going. And so like, and I can't say I do it all the time, I'm very, very seldom in there these days, but every time I've hopped in, it's the same story over and over and over again. There are people playing. You're absolutely correct. And I know that some of the people who only play Firewall. Like that's their PSVR game. Like that is it, man. They are in there day after day after day and they just fucking love it. And that's, to me, as far as I'm concerned, like that's proof positive that they're doing something right. Do I want it to be like a Solaris 2? Do I want it to be a Firewall 0 Hour 2? You know what I want, man?
Firewall 1 hour.
Firewall Hour 2. That doesn't sound right. Hey, what are you doing? Get down. Oh my God. She does it when I'm doing GAMESCAST because she knows I won't fight her. But she's trying to get up into the stacks and knock shit over. She's like, what can I knock down? I want it to be, here's what I really want. They've done so much great with Firewall 1 that I would love for them to have basically Firewall Director's Cut, where not only is it every weapon, every contractor, and every map that we're already familiar with, but also like blow all of that out of the water. Be like, yeah, you don't have to have a full-fledged sequel or anything like that, but give us, but double the map size.
Remastered.
Yeah, and use the adaptive triggers on the Sense controllers. Do everything that we really, really want. Just iron all the issues out and give us host migration, everything else that like we've been asking for all these years, and just give us, dude, because some of the maps in that game are so great that I feel like it would almost be a waste if they weren't able to reuse them for whatever
the maps
they're
are
doing next.
Fantastic. Yeah. I mean, that was the big thing. I mean, that was definitely the big thing that kept us coming back for so long, or kept me personally playing for so long, was the map design and playing with a squad and stuff. And playing against different squads. I kind of always had a different experience, and it was a really, really great game, but I definitely would prefer that over Solaris 2. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like Solaris had a ton of potential. Like I really enjoyed Solaris, probably more than most, and I had a great time with it. But man, that fun dies out fast. Especially nobody bought Solaris. Nobody. It was the day after it came out, and I couldn't get a match together. It sucked, man. But yeah, you were absolutely right. It was Shabs Damoun over at First Contact, a game director for the studio, reveals on his LinkedIn page that he is currently working on an unannounced title for PSVR2. Shabs is also creating additional seasonal content for the original Firewall 0 Hour, which is currently in Season 9 called Operation Roguetide. Then you can see it here. This is his LinkedIn profile, which is a weird way to tell people that you're working on a PSVR2 game. LinkedIn, is he looking for a new job? Is he trying to get out of First Contact? Come on, Damon, what are you doing, man? But very, very, very interesting. And I think, we had already seen job listings prior to this back in September. That's where the original conversation came from. So we knew they were making something. But I kind of feel like, again, I keep saying this is a story we're going to hear 1,000 more times over the course of the next year, that like any VR developer out there who's still making games is either going to be bringing their PSVR 1 game over to have it ready for the PSVR 2 launch, or they're going to have a PSVR 2 game as close to ready for launch as possible, because this is just this is kind of, I feel like the first time VR is going to really hit the mainstream. Like Quest 2 is really getting there. And it's helped pushing us towards the mainstream. But I think PSVR 2 will be the first time we actually VR goes mainstream, especially with the addition of AAA quality titles. That's certainly going to help.
I know by at least like PSVR 4 or 5, it'll be mainstream.
I mean, how many million units does it have to sell for you to consider it to be mainstream?
Oh, like, I don't know. I mean, 35, 45.
These are very arbitrary numbers.
I mean, who am I?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I feel like we're getting pretty close. I mean, if
like, the thing is, yeah. I've always thought of it as long as it's growing and I've kind of, it needs to grow organically. It can grow a healthy organic, have a healthy organic growth to it. As long as it's like slowly getting more players, introducing more people, showing people how amazing it can be, them getting the experiences they want. And then, that number keep rising a little bit. And it's accomplished a lot. It's first gen number 1, with still the technology being evolved and developing. So, I still think it's gonna continue to do so. It may not be like mainstream where everybody in their household has one, even are convinced to get one, but it'll get there eventually, and that's the important part.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can no longer say, "Oh, VR is a fad," and
right.
This is its last chance or whatever like that. This is slow growth. That's what we're seeing. But man, I'm just so curious. I'm so curious to see if the PSVR2 headsets, if their entire first shipment sells out immediately, if they're hard to get. That'll be one of the most interesting things this next year to kind of gauge engagement and see if people are really interested in like next gen VR gaming. Because I think it's super easy to buy a Quest 2 right now and be like, oh, $300, you don't need anything, you don't need to plug into anything. Oh, so here you go, here you go, niece, nephew, kid, brother, whatever. Right? It's super easy just to buy one for somebody and go, here you go, you got everything you need. But to see like if that translates into PSVR 2 sales, that'll be really interesting. AJ, we have.
Hey.
How's it going? Fancy seeing you here. Dude, we've got a whole article from Variety.
I love doing these. Who's our victim today?
Yeah, Variety is our victim today. And in the title of the article from Variety is "Why Sony's PSVR 2 has no real chance to climb out of Meta's shadow," which. Wow, I mean, I couldn't love the title of that article any more than I do.
Statement.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. So let me bring up this deal here.
Well, let me hear them out. Let me hear what they have to say.
All right.
Because Sony is in Meta's shadow.
Hold on a second. I don't know what's going on. Don't mind me. How was your day? Nothing's breaking over here, I swear.
You want me to read it?
I don't mind reading it at all, but I just don't understand what's going on. Like why it's not showing the entire screen. I would like it to be on screen so people could share it with us. Let me. It's so weird. All right, well, you get an idea at least as we scroll through this thing.
You got the dark theme going. That's what I need. Just the dark theme.
Oh, okay. So after we get down to the brighter section of it, that'll help. Okay. So again, let's start at the top of this thing. Here it is. Kaze Erickson. This is cut by Kare Erickson. I apologize. My window's really small. It's from Variety. And this was just this past weekend. I want to say it was on the 14th. So after confirming that the name of PSVR2 successor would... After confirming the name of its PlayStation VR successor would simply be PSVR2 at CES in January, before further detailing specs in February, Sony is rumored to be sending out emails hinting an official showcase for PSVR2 is imminent.
Are they talking about the email that just went out saying introducing PSVR2? That wasn't related, man.
I mean, like it already like, like I feel like I would have heard something about this, and so yeah, I don't
like people were just saying shit like that. There was no actual like hint at an event coming soon.
Yeah, I mean, it depends who it's rumored to be sending out emails. Like it depends who they're talking about. Like just consumers or what's the deal?
Yeah. I signed up to get those emails. They're supposed to send me those emails.
Oh, dude, I think I must be blacklisted or something because I signed up and Sony doesn't send me shit anymore.
You said like, you said you lied about that.
I signed up for it and I never got anything. And other people have been getting emails. Not this email that Variety is talking about, but just like the general emails. Similar to how Sony is rejiggering its approach to PlayStation subscriptions, this update to its virtual reality headset for gaming was long expected. But data from IDC, which I'd love to find out what IDC is, make it clear.
Don't care.
I don't. Yeah, you and me both.
See,
perfect.
But data from I don't care.
Makes it clear the PSVR brand has a significant uphill battle to stand out among other VR headsets once again. And then it shows this this pie chart, I guess, of just like all the different headsets that have been shipped. In Meta, of course, taking the lion's share of it with 78%. Per its annual tracking of headset shipments, ID Care found that PSVR wasn't just well below the 78% share of 11.2 million shipments exhibited by the Meta Quest 2, formerly known as the Oculus Quest 2. It failed to rank among the top 5 headsets manufacturers, with Chinese companies DPVR, ByteDance-owned Pico Interactive, HTC, and IQIYI selling the most headsets after Meta. First of all, these are shipments. They do realize
shipments don't mean sales, right?
Right.
I mean, not only that, but you're talking about a headset like a headset that came out, the Quest and Quest 2 came out, 2-3 years ago? Something like that? 2 years ago?
Yeah. PSVR.
These are like brand new.
Years old.
I don't know. Yeah. Right. Anyways.
I mean, it is interesting, like that they're trying to say that there's some kind of correlation
see the connection
here. Yeah, it's an old headset. Like if they're trying to like use this data at all to talk about how PSVR2 is going to sell, well then they need to compare the first year of Quest or Quest 2 with the first year of PlayStation VR 1. And even those numbers wouldn't make any sense because of how the VR market's changed over the last 6 years. So as we continue through this article, I'm very interested to see how they try to like use all this data together to prove their point. Let's see. Per its annual tracking of headset shipped, keep going. While VR is still a relatively niche medium for gaming and other interactive experiences, the speed with which Meta knocked PSVR2 out of the running as the standout headset from 2019 to 2020 via Quest 2 was nothing short of cutthroat. Again, 4 years after PSVR 1 came out. Let's see. Let's keep moving down here.
That will typically happen when you release a device 4 years after a device has been out that and is in the same thing.
Like at the same time, we're not defending Sony. Like Sony hasn't put out a new headset, right? So it's like their numbers would look much different if they had a new headset to compete with.
And yet Sony is still releasing more exclusives right now.
Yeah. Oh man, that's another story altogether. Let's see. As vicious of a competitive leap forward as this was for Meta, the reasons behind it were simple. I can't wait. For one, the number of cords, connections, and accessories required to get PSVR set up for use drew many complaints. Beyond that, there was also the fact that buying a PSVR headset also meant buying a PS4 console if you didn't already own one. I mean, again, I think they're correct that yes, people enjoy the fact that there's no cables. And if they don't, but who the fuck doesn't own a PlayStation 4? That to me.
Well, there's 110, 20 million people that did own a PS4, do own a PS4. So
yeah,
that's a lot more than the 10 million Quest headsets available.
Right,
significant margin.
By contrast, Quest and its second iteration were cordless and required no extra hardware to operate after purchasing. Yes, we understand. Good thing Sony and PSVR2 are hitting back with better features that have nothing to do with either of those things. Oh, dude, and then they do... I didn't even know they did this because I sort of just skimmed the article ahead of time. They actually do like a spec comparison and show, the pixels per eye, display, screen refresh rate, tracking, and just kind of like the whole deal. And this is so interesting. I mean, not super interesting, obviously. Like it
really
doesn't. There's a lot of
article. They're like, quick, we need to write something.
Right. And to be fair, the PSVR2
to talk about.
To be fair, the PSVR2 does remove the required PS camera connection for a smoother operating process, but is not fully wireless, and of course still requires PlayStation 5 for use, effectively cementing PS5 owners as the only ground to gain in achieving a better share of VR shipments sold going forward. That's all true.
Yes. Well, people would rather play games with super nice, high fidelity graphics than what can run on a mobile processor.
Exactly. Well, and that, again, we're going to find out. That doesn't mean substantial improvements in viewable pixels, field of view, and vision tracking aren't going to appeal to tech enthusiasts. But it's important to remember that Valve Index was already developed as a more tech-intensive VR option and is selling about as poorly as PSVR has been over the last 2 years when compared with the headsets from Meta and leading Chinese entities.
Isn't the Valve Index also like $1,000 or more and requires a $2,000 PC?
I don't know. I'm going to try to buy one right now. Let's see how much it costs.
I have a feeling this person's not very good at math.
Right. Yeah, Valve. I can't. How much are they? Can I buy one on Amazon? Let's see, Valve Index. Because all I was seeing was used ones. Valve Index VR full kit, $1,300.
Wow.
Yep, pretty expensive. Gee, I wonder why it didn't sell well.
Well, I don't think it was targeted towards a mainstream audience either. I mean, that's what people don't realize.
The Valve is definitely for more tech enthusiasts, for people with high-end PCs who wanted yeah. So, man, that's what's driving me crazy about this article is that yes, the things they're saying are true, but they don't actually relate to the argument they're trying to make, even in the slightest.
It's this console. They're just trying to feed off this console war bullshit mentality and comparing apples and oranges and being like, you see, this apple's not an orange. And I don't know, man.
I don't know either. All right,
dumb.
Let's keep moving. Much like what makes PlayStation a leading console brand, the PSVR2's only realistic option to gain ground is going with the games that it offers, specifically AAA quality games compatible with PSVR. Given that many AAA studios already deal with the development challenge of making their games playable on both PS4 and PlayStation 5 hardware, it will always be easier for Sony to just collaborate with them on new games intended for PSVR, but only sticking to that model is a wasted opportunity. I'm so confused. Given that many AAA studios already deal with development challenge, it will always be easy for Sony just to collaborate with them on new games intended for PSVR. And they go on to say after this, hold on, maybe this will clarify. Hitman 3 hit 50 million players within a year of its release, making it the most popular installment of IO Interactive's new Hitman trilogy, and was also PSVR compatible from launch, with reception to the VR mode positive enough for IO to further develop a PC VR version that launched this year. Likewise, Capcom's Resident Evil 7 was an instant hit when it released in 2017, not just because of its reimagined take of the long-running horror franchise, but also because the multi-platform game was fully playable on PlayStation VR, with almost 10% of its players experiencing the game that way. When follow-up Resident Evil Village launched without PSVR compatibility, there was prominent disappointment. I'm so confused by what they're saying. What
metrics are they judging by? I mean, yes, but again, yeah, where's this going? Keep going. We got to keep going. We got to get through this.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Next generation PSVR games are certainly in the works, as confirmed by Epic Games' presentation last week for the launch of Unreal Engine 5. The PSVR2 logo was shown amongst a collage of studio logos already working with the next Unreal Engine. So there are certainly big games in the periphery. But until we see the full scope of what new PSVR hopes to achieve, it remains difficult to see what, if anything, can be done to regain its former momentum.
Next generation PSVR games were confirmed back in January, with Sony going on stage and announcing Call the Mountain. It wasn't confirmed last week because of a logo in Unreal Engine 5. This is just somebody that doesn't fucking know shit.
Yeah.
Just trying to make an article. I mean, we know quite a lot about this because we spend so much time with it. So I don't blame the person for like trying to figure out something. But is that the end of the article?
That's the end of the article. Like, that's it.
What did that have to do with the title?
I don't know.
I'm so disappointed. I was like hoping for something to like at least argue about. They didn't even fucking do it. They just
they use
clickbait trash.
They use facts that do not correlate with each other whatsoever to make an argument that they forgot to finish making. Like,
it sounds like that person has like horrible ADHD or something, and they're just like, and the Quest shipped 10 million, and look at this pie chart we got from I Don't Care, and
I don't care.
And PSVR 2 games are announced a week ago. It doesn't even make sense. That's okay.
It doesn't make any sense. That was the most, and I thought Variety had like some kind of cred. Like I thought that they like were like a decent news out.
Dude,
like,
not many people have VR cred. Not like us and our communities.
Jay with the $5 tip says exclusives and experiences are king. And though price entry is important for mass adoption, PSVR 2 exclusives will have mass appeal via viral marketing. Absolutely. I think Horizon Call of the Mountain is a great example of that. All the Horizon fans will be on board. All of the PSVR 1 and hopefully Quest fans will be on board with a new headset. It's sort of the perfect storm. Launching a little bit later than people wanted, but still, I think. We'll be more desperate than ever, I think. Joey Bats 33 with a $5 tip says PSVR 2 launching in October. My imaginary source has verified it. Good.
I'm so disappointed in this Variety article. This was just like some random shit that they needed to write because they needed something to write about, and so they just cobbled together a bunch of garbage and gave it a clickbait title, and it worked because we read it.
Yeah, my fault.
Wasted our time and everybody's time, and I'm sorry.
Yep, I kind of skimmed it and was like, "Oh, this is gonna be a great discussion." And as we read through it, I was like, "This is just terrible writing." Apologies, but that is I guess also sort of indicative of the thought process that is out there. People not realizing the VR market has changed and evolved and grown over the past 6 years. So they're comparing apples to oranges and saying, well, if 1 + 1 = 2, then fucking...
That wasn't even apples to oranges.
Shit's falling from the sky.
I don't even know what that was.
Yeah,
I wish I had a good analogy for that, but no. This is going to be something we're going to have to get. Look, all that shit that we found frustrating with this gen, again, this is going to happen again. It's just going to be, like when PSVR 2 comes out, there's going to be people that are saying, oh, it's, a failure, whatever, and it's going to happen, and there's no stopping it. But the reality is there's going to be people that are slowly growing and playing it. And more and more people are going to be like, oh, my God, this is amazing. And having the wake up call and realize. And, lots of people that were kind of getting tired of gaming are going to find PSVR 2 and it's going to reinvigorate their love for gaming. Yeah. There's going to be so many things. It's basically going to be Gen 1 again, except like 10 times, 20 times better.
Remy the Gamecat with the €50. Thank you, my friend. Says, breaking news, bread outsells PSVR. Almost every gamer bought bread in the last Etzel. I don't know what that is. Last Isel? Is this the end of consoles and the rise of bread? We'll keep you posted.
Bread outsells PSVR.
Thanks, Bell. Appreciate that. Bread will always outsell PSVR. Listen, like this is ridiculous. But anyway, we do need to move on because we still have one more major topic to talk about. And that is that according to PSN trophies, PSNprofiles.com, the sales of Moss Book 2 are extremely, extremely low. I'm going to bring that up in just a second as soon as my computer starts working again.
It's not surprising.
Anytime now. Here it is. All right, let's see. Moss Book 2. And There we go. There's MossBook 2 playing here. All right, so let's take this piece by piece here. If you look over on psnprofiles.com and you look at the games in order alphabetized, you'll see MossBook 1 and MossBook 2 right after each other. Now, we need to point out one major important factor here is that psnprofiles.com is an opt-in website. Like, you have to make an account and whatever, and say, yes, you have access to my trophies and blah, blah, blah. And so the numbers we're going to be talking about here are more of like we're going to be talking about them proportionately and not be talking about exact figures because only Sony would really know, or Polyarc, I'm assuming too, would know the exact sales figures for MossBook 2. But when you head on over to the website, you can see that 20,000 of their members own MossBook 1 versus 100 people, or 101 total people for MossBook 2. So comparatively speaking, that's absolutely insane. Like, what percentage is that? Do we have any good math people out there? 100 versus 20,000? That's an insanely low percentage.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Is that Moss also has been out for 5 years, 4 years, 5 years?
Yeah,
5 years. 4?
I don't know.
What year is it?
I think it came out in 1998. No, it came out in 2018, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. February 2018. So the thing is that you can't use this as a metric, really, as an accurate metric for how much it's sold, as like putting numbers on it, in terms of like how many people actually own the game. But it does give you kind of a rough estimate of, in a way, it's not something like, so like, I think Steam has this like concurrent players, player base thing. They have like, the sales. I think there's a couple different things you can put it together and say, yes, it hasn't sold really that great. But here's the thing. I mean, this is a transitional period for PlayStation VR. Everybody's waiting on PSVR 2.
Yeah.
A lot of people are. And, it's been out for 6 years. And this is something that I don't think is going to happen as much with PSVR 2, because PSVR 2 is going to have a little bit better future-proofed tech in it.
Yeah.
The
fact that PSVR 1 launched without analog sticks on the Move controllers made the controllers for most people outdated from day one, and like too frustrating to even learn or deal with or get used to. So absolutely, 100% agree.
Typically, you get the best games that a console offers. A lot of the times you get some of the best games at the end of the console cycle. Yeah. And this is a situation where the hardware kind of showed its age and kind of held back the game from really showing its true potential. And yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate for them. But these were obviously deals that were put in place a long time ago. And now, this is something we've been seeing for the past year and a half, 2 years maybe even, where developers can release a stellar game and it's we don't see it on the top 10 monthly downloaded games and whatnot, and it's a rare thing for that to happen, and it's just the result of a much smaller player base, but those players and more are going to be present when the next hardware comes out, when PlayStation VR 2 comes out.
It's indicative of a much smaller player base, and thank you, Cerebral Frost. I had to pull up a calculator to find out. It's like 0.5% comparison. So like a 0.5% base of the people who bought MossBook 1 bought MossBook 2 so far on PSVR 1. Now let's ride the game feeling with a $5 tip. Says bread sells well because there's no wires. Duh. Thank you, Niles Ryan. But I do want to kind of like do like a somewhat deeper dive into this and ask other than the fact that yes, people have moved on to Quest. Yes, people have moved on to PCVR. Yes, people have just put away their PSVR 1 because they're just kind of done with it, man. Like that excitement has worn off. And I can totally identify with that because I've played every single PlayStation VR game there is. After you play 500 of them, it's no longer like, oh my god, when you put on the headset anymore, especially when like, half the time you put it on, the game's like, oh, this is kind of blurry. Or, oh, what did they do with this control scheme? Why is there only click turning? Oh, why is there only teleportation? Right? It's like, yes, there are still games that have the ability to blow us away, but more often than not, like games lately have been like, it's like not like a little underwhelming. If I hear you say anything about No Man's Sky, I will fucking crawl through the screen and strangle you.
Amazing.
Double rainbows.
Well, there's a couple more factors. I'm going to let you finish, but there are a couple more factors that's not just because of PSVR being dated and having a smaller player base. Did you have anything more to add to that?
No, I was actually going to say it is much more than that, and that the very first factor I bet you were about to say is price. They overpriced this thing, or whether we think it's overpriced or not. I think the price scared a lot of people away. I think that's for sure.
That absolutely has a lot to do with it. You got to factor in everything, because despite all those things you said being true, we did have Zenith hit the top 10 charts, and I think still is. I don't know. And we even Stride. I mean, that is a game that had zero marketing.
Yeah,
zero. It had a YouTube trailer like a year ago, and that was all the marketing is. But the game design appealed to a lot of people, and it was $15, and it was just, when you can get so many games. If you look at the PlayStation Store right now, there's a bunch of games on sale. When you can get Iron Man for $15, you can get Astrobot for $7. Yeah, a $40 5-hour, 6-hour game is gonna have a hard time selling. People don't want to spend that much, no matter how much the quality is. People don't want to pay that much for a short game.
Well, and with everything else in mind, like with everything that we've already talked about in mind, do you think this is also maybe a warning to other developers to be like, hey, like the VR tax is dead. Like you need we can no longer be paying more money for a game just because it's in VR, because that will, we've got too many options now, and again, when a lot of people, like with the fascination of VR sort of ended, and people are playing more flat screen games again, they're taking off the headset more often. Like I was just looking at Tunic. Tunic is a game that I really fucking want to play, and it's like 14 hours long or 15 hours long, and it's like the game everyone's talking about on flat screen right now. I mean, if you're not playing Elden Ring, I suppose. And it's $30. And so like to me this is comparable in different ways. I know it's a different type of game, but it's $10 cheaper. It's like twice as long, if not 3 times as long, and has deeper gameplay mechanics. So I just think it's time for this VR tax to die. We can no longer say, hey, yeah, $40 is acceptable for a 5 or 6 hour game.
Yeah, but what about
period.
Something like 5 or 6 hours? I mean, you had Wanderer. I mean, we were fine with the price with that because that was 10 plus hours, but that was also $40. Yeah. Well, that's subjective whether it was mind blowing or not. But there were things that I got blown away with. I still get blown away by VR games all the time. It doesn't stop for me. Like I just embrace everything, and I have a good time with it, or like to have a good time with it when I can. And even Moss Book 2, like there was tons of things that I loved that blew my mind about it. But yeah, it's time is valuable, and that I don't know. I think if they would have come out with a $20 price tag, more people would have bought it. But I actually didn't blame them, because I was thinking, man, they're obviously locked in with Sony. Like Sony has this exclusive deal in place, and they probably, it's, in my opinion, from a business standpoint, not saying that I think the game is worth whatever. I don't really care. Just from a business perspective, if I were them, I think I probably would have charged $40. Like, I don't blame them for charging $40, because you get that at least extra $10 with every person you do buy it from. or that does buy it. So you do make back some of your money that way, or that helps soften the blow a little bit. But it's just it's just a bad time to release a game on PSVR.
PSVR exclusively, for sure. But I mean,
exclusive.
If there's an exclusivity arrangement, it's not like they didn't get money from that. It's not they were just like, somebody wasn't like, can you please just give this one to us for 6 months minimum, please? They were like, here's fucking lots and lots of money, right? And so you would hope that would set off the price, so that they wouldn't have to charge more for it because it's an exclusive. So I just, I also think It's so funny that when you and I talk about a game, whenever we talk about like something like Song in the Smoke, and we're jumping up and down about it, being like, this is a must-have game. This is like one of the most immersive experiences you can play. One of the best games we played of the year. 10 out of 10. No question about it. You should pick this up. $30. Like, it took me a fucking long time to beat it. I can't remember the number of hours. And then people are like, I'm going to wait for a sale. I'm not going to buy it. And a lot of people are just waiting for next gen, man. A lot of people are mad. I even see some people in the chat saying, I'm not going to buy something if, for $40, or B, until I can confirm that backwards compatibility is a thing. So that because PSVR2 is so close, right? That like, I want to be able to make sure that if I buy this thing now, I'm going to be able to play it on the next headset that I purchase.
Right. Because otherwise you could end up having to pay for it twice. And people are smart, man. That's what some developers don't realize, that people are smart and they can be cheap sometimes. And that's why I feel like, I just don't know. I don't know if even dropping it to $30 would have been a better decision for them, or $20. I just don't know if they would have benefited from that either way. Maybe if they went really cheap with it, like $20, maybe a lot more people would have bought it. But people are still going to buy and play this game. The problem here is that they didn't do it at launch.
They're going to buy it on Quest when it comes over to Quest. Although, again,
that's because Quest needs more games like this. Quest needs a lot more better games, better quality games. And I think it was Nate that just pointed out. What's up, Nate? He said even on the Quest 2 store, devs are struggling to sell their game. Look at the first weeks of Cosmonius High by Alchemy Games. Mm-hmm. I mean, whatever reason it is, there is a way to successfully market and sell your game. I mean, look at what Swordsman is doing. Look at what Beat Saber is doing. There is a path to selling a lot and having tons of success. And right now, yes, it is a tough time. I mean, it is a tough time unless you're some just game that is just revolutionary. And Moss, as much as I loved it, it's not really a revolutionary game. We've played Moss Book 1 before, and it's a sequel to a game we absolutely love, but it's certainly not it's not getting people that were like not interested in VR or whatever to come back, and I don't even think if it was a 10-hour game people would want to pay $40 for it.
I agree with you, and I feel like pricing Moss Book 1 at $30 kind of backed Polyarch into a weird corner, but I feel like they could have taken advantage of that and had a much more successful launch for Moss Book 2 if they had just sort of planned ahead and thought a little bit about this. They could have easily dropped. I mean, we know that Moss Book 1 sold over 1 million units. Like they went public about that a while ago. We don't know how many of those was on PSVR, but that doesn't matter. They could have easily said, hey, with Moss Book 2 rapidly approaching, we're going to permanently drop the price of Moss Book 1 down to $20, right? They could have easily done that like a month before or a couple weeks before the launch of Moss Book 2 and kind of like so generate some more interest in the IP. First and foremost, you get people playing it on PSVR who might have multiple headsets. And then on top of that, you could have said, when the game came out, you could have launched it definitely at a cheaper price. 30 would have made much more sense for this game. Or bundled it with Moss Book 1, be like, hey, the Moss Complete Collection for $45 or something like that to make everyone feel like they're getting like a steal. 2 games for the price of just a little bit more than 1. So many different marketing ways they could have gone about this to do it. And I don't know why they didn't make any attempt whatsoever to do that. So
I don't think there's anything. I think they could give it their best shot, and I still think you're limited to the amount that you could sell just being a PSVR exclusive right now.
Well, right, but
regardless,
when we're tackling the reasons one by one why this thing didn't sell well, and we start with price, like that to me is like, well, that would have been a way to make the price work in their favor, right? Not only and generate more interest for the first game. So yeah, so I mean, it sucks. It sucks, and I think that we've got a long year ahead of us as far as PSVR1's concerned. I think we're going to hear more and more stories like this. Moss has a great reputation, and I think a lot of games that are still coming out on PlayStation VR1 are going to suffer even more than Moss did. So it's going to be really, really interesting to watch how that all goes down. But hopefully, again, all of these games hopefully will be able to, playable on PSVR2 with upgrades at launch. So we just have to see how all that goes down over the course of the next month.
This would be much more of a cause for concern if it was like, the launch of PSVR2 and we're having this conversation and it's like Moss didn't sell.
Oh my God.
Nothing selling on PSVR2.
That would be a horrible conversation to be having.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't imagine
that
having
would be
that
more
for a
of
long
a cause for concern than a 6-year-old headset that was outdated within its first 2-3 years.
Right.
And wasn't in the middle of a transition, all this stuff. It'd be a much different story. But hell, like I said, I got it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I still play my PSVR every day and loving it. And for those that are still doing that as well, they'll either get it on sale and get to enjoy it, and or they'll wait for next gen. And there's less of us right now that consistently play still, but we're still here. We're still enjoying it. Thank you, Polyarch, for bringing it.
And and thank you, Sony, for making sure we got it. Distracted Gamecat. That sounded like such a fucking kiss-ass thing for me to say, didn't it? It's like, thank you, Sony. Let me lick your ass. Oh, it tastes so good. Oh, yeah, give it to me. Distracted Gamecat with the New Zealand 350 said, we need backwards compatibility for me to buy more games. Yeah, I think a lot of people are in the exact same boat as you, man. And I think once Sony's messaging gets a little bit more transparent, then maybe there could be a little bit of renewed interest in the catalog. I will say
gamers and consumers are a lot smarter than companies give them credit for.
For sure. Oh, absolutely. Just to put a cap on this real quick, and I know we're running long, so I apologize. But I do think that Sony has maybe seen these numbers way prior to us, obviously, like seeing what games came out last year and how well they sold, and they probably saw the downhill trajectory long before we even had any idea how poorly things were selling, and that makes me wonder. Braxbro loved the ass licking, that's for sure. So if anybody had any hope, I think, for one more PSVR1 spotlight, where it's like, we had this final blast of PSVR1 games. Like, remember last year we got Fracked and Arashi and whatever else, right? There was a nice final wave of nice big push of games. I think that if I was Sony and I was looking at these numbers, I'd be like, absolutely fucking not. Like, PSVR1 is dead.
Seeing it all for PSVR2. Absolutely.
Put all your eggs in the right basket at this point. So.
Yeah, but they gave us 3 big high profile games this year, and it was Wander, it was Zenith, and it was Moss Book 2, and Moss Book 2 was the last one. So it is getting time. I mean, there's going to be reasons to still play your PSVR, but when it comes to new games, new announcements, and stuff like that, everything is going to be geared towards PSVR 2 at this point, or should be.
Right.
If I was a developer, I'd be definitely focused on that. I wouldn't want to waste my announcement of my game on this right now. Like I said, there's still advantages for some developers out there that need to get in with Sony, need to get in their good graces, build some relationships with them for the future. But,
right.
But otherwise, it is time for next gen. We're ready for next gen. We've been ready. If it wasn't for a pandemic, we'd probably have PSVR 2 right now.
And with those final words on the topic, I think it's time that we play a little game of PSVR 20 questions to round out the show. And I'm the host this week, so I've got a game in mind. It's here somewhere. I know I picked one. Where is it? What is the... Yeah, and fingers crossed, man, that we haven't done this one before, because... Fuck, man, we've done so many, I can't keep track of them all. Are you ready?
I am ready. Let's do this, cats. Let's work together.
Yeah, help them out, cats.
Family.
20 yes or no questions to figure out what PSVR game I'm thinking of. 6 minutes on the clock. Go.
Does it have move support?
Oh, no. That's weird. I didn't know the answer on top of my head.
Is it DualShock 4 only?
Yes.
Okay. Does it have dinosaurs, robots, cowboys, or zombies in it?
Yes. Oh, no. Yes. But that's really not going to help you. I want to say
Thanks,
no.
Scott Jessica.
I want to say no just to point you in the right direction. But
That's
yes.
fine. Is it was it made within the first 2 years of the PSVR life cycle?
First 2 years? No.
Okay. So did it come out within the last 2 years?
It's an excellent question. No.
Probably not. Oh, so it's somewhere in the middle. These are the hardest
hold on
ones.
a second. I think I got my year. It did come out in the first 2 years. It was, and so let me take back a question because you wouldn't have asked the second one. Yeah, it was very close.
Okay. So close to the first 2 years. So 2018. Okay. Did it come out in 2018?
I just said it was really close. You sure you want to use that question?
Okay, fine. Is it a horror game?
Yes, that's 5.
Is it a stealth game?
No.
Blue Joe, I would ask him would he consider it a hidden gem, but he considers the Hop Along the Badlands a hidden gem, so that could mean anything at this point. I shit on that. They requested that game Saturday night. I shit on it so hard. I hate that game so much. Oh, it is a horror game.
Listen, just because you don't like masturbating on camera like I do, don't blame the game. Don't blame the game.
Touché. I was thinking the Persistence, but the Persistence has stealth. Okay. So it's a horror game. I need some. Does it have a physical release? Ooh.
No.
No. Oh, I was thinking Home Sweet Home. A good one, Bogey Cat. How much time do I have?
Like 3.5 minutes.
Is it part of a compilation of games?
No.
Okay. It's not Dread Halls. Nice one, Nick. Thanks for reminding me. God, I hate that game.
If you hate Dread Halls, then there's no accounting for taste.
I love to hate it, and I hate to love it. Let's see. Is it a puzzle game as well?
Yes, it is.
It's a puzzle game. Does it have dying in the title?
No, it does not, and that's 10 questions.
Does it have full locomotion?
Can you define full locomotion?
Being able to walk?
I would.
You're wasting my time here.
Yeah, I mean, no. I would say our traditional. You can just run around anywhere you want. That it would be the answer to that question would be no.
Interesting. Is there shooting in this?
No.
No shooting. Don't Knock Twice has move support. Nog is not a horror game. Here They Lie. He said it was close. Here They Lie was a launch game. Derosane had. Is it? Did this? He said it's not a. Oh, he said it is a puzzle game. FNAF has things. Don't you guys know your games?
The answer to that question is no.
Oh shit! Okay, how much time do I have left? I need to hurry up and start rapid fire.
Minute and 40 seconds. You have 8 questions.
Okay,
7 questions
40
and a guess.
with 7 questions and a guess. Is it made by From Software?
It is not.
Are there cubes in this game? Is it a cube puzzle game?
Oh, no.
I don't know which game he's talking about, but I'm just using their thing. I already asked if there's Full Loco.
He's asking about Never Out, I think.
Does this game have dolls in the title?
No.
Doll in the title.
That's 15.
That's 15 squishies. Let's see. Oh God!
Minute left.
Insanity and stuff come out there. Does it look like a mobile phone game?
No, I don't. I wouldn't say so. No, I think parts of it actually look pretty good. Parts of it. Some of it looks bad.
Is transference?
Transference has full locomotion.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Some of these other games definitely have full locomotion. Man, he's got me stumped here.
It's not an easy one.
It's not an easy one. Is it a piece of shit game?
I liked it, like, quite a bit. I think the only thing I didn't like about it, besides the fact it didn't have move support, was it was overpriced.
It's overpriced.
Get 8 seconds, 2 questions and a guess. Let's wrap this thing up.
Does it have insanity in the title?
It does not. 1 question and a guess.
1 question and a guess. God, couldn't you go to Google or something for me, cats?
Yeah, right. They are not helpful today.
They've said Rise of Insanity about 8,000 times.
It's
okay.
about as obscure as Rise of Insanity, and you're totally out of time, obviously.
Okay. So my guess.
Yep.
I think this was a 2019 game, so I'm probably going to be wrong here. Is it No Way Out?
It is not No Way Out. Launching in 2018, September 21st, 2018, to be more specific, by Skonek Entertainment, the same people who brought us Mortal Blitz, is The Door VR.
The Door.
The Door. Definitely House of the Dead inspired visuals. Definitely some creepiness going on.
That is a hard one.
It is a puzzle escape room through and through.
Escape room.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it has node to node, not teleportation, sort of node to node motion. It sort of walks you from place to place.
Yeah.
This is, I actually really enjoyed this one. I think it's got some rough edges to it.
I liked it at first. I liked it for a little bit, and then because I was like, man, it's so goofy. Like it's so goofy that it almost seems like a House of the Dead.
Yeah.
Escape room in VR.
Yeah.
But then the puzzles are just so dumb eventually.
Oh, yeah. There's one puzzle. There's one puzzle near the end that I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I took out a piece of paper and a pen and was doing like long algebraic equations and shit. I was like, I don't remember if that was how I figured it out or not, but you should never have to take off your headset to solve a puzzle in VR, which is what Wanderer did really, really well with that chalkboard, gotta say.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah, that was a deep cut, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, all the cats. I don't think anybody in the chat was like, oh, yeah, obviously.
No.
Yeah.
No, I've almost beaten that game, and I wasn't even close. But I also didn't play it around launch, so the time frame threw it off for me.
Right on.
I played it like years later when it was like $2 on sale. It was like, speaking of expensive games, super expensive.
Real quick, look for the Gamecat with here it is, the €2 says, please check the Streamlabs donations. I don't even know what that means. There is for some reason, Streamlabs keeps adding a link in these videos that say support the stream, and then there's a Streamlabs link. I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on there. Sorry about that, and thank you, I think. I appreciate it. Guys, we gotta get moving here, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to AJ over at PSVR Underground. Does his weekly live streams every Saturday night, and of course did a bonus stream with we got No Man's Sky this week, and lots of good stuff happening.
If you need some No Man's Sky love, I got your fix. Seriously, yeah, I don't know. You got a while to go before you can enjoy this update.
No, I'm good. If I wasn't interested before, the cats fucking turned me off of it entirely last week. So thank you guys very much for that. You saved me a whole bucket of time. I appreciate that so much. Guys, thank you everybody who supports the channel, not only here, but also on patreon.com/withoutparole games. Thank you for everybody who hung out, helped AJ guess or not guess the game. You tried. What can we do? And thank you, of course, all the cats who changed your name to Gamecat. Remember, #Gamecat if you change your name. And of course, all the cats out there who sat back, watched the show, and didn't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there just as much. Looper the Underground Gamecat with the €2 says, oh, okay, give me a sec to repeat it here. I'm so confused. I'm sure I'll figure it out by the time we're done with the credit sequence. AJ.
He might be talking. I wonder if he's talking to me. But yeah, I'll pick up. I will pick up Prison Boss.
Nice.
Brian, you know what time it is?
Wait, was that some like? What just happened there? Was he okay?
It doesn't matter. Cue the cat, Brian.
Cue the cat.
Because I want to say, see you guys later. To Yuri the Brave, Bambino Ramos. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Nick Mueller, the Game Cat, Dan Kiefer, Alberto Mapalm, the Game Gato. This guy got cojones. Dom, Flesh Eater Gaming. Thank you, man. Kill Artist, the Dreamweaver. Game Cat, thank you so much, man. Dark Angel 3. Mark Smith says like and subscribe to these guys. Miles Dyer in the house tonight says Sharknado with emojis. Jazzy J, the Terror Mage, Game Cat. Twitch of the I Love Swordsman now, Game Cat. Dan Kiefer, thank you so much. Mike Kelly, thank you. Blue Jew, the Underground Game Cat says, lovely show, guys. Lovely show. That's how I just imagined she said that.
Nice.
Distracted, the Game Cat says, cue the MF Cat. Let's go. Imhotep, the Game Lion. Thanks so much, man. Daniel Kaz, peace out, homie. Alex VR, good to see you, man. Scott Disco, peace in. Harold PSVR, Game Cat for life. Thank you so much, dude. Alejandro. Says the door in Dread Halls for Saturday. Oh, don't make me. Oh, man. Every time you bring up something, well, the door isn't like a terrible game, so it's okay. I can take it. All you are is history. Thank you so much. Oh, great. They really are picking that. they watch this show, find out what you say is really bad, or make it sound really bad, and then they go, oh, that's what he's going to play on Saturday. Ian Stanbridge says, bread is harder to make in games than doors, though. I must agree. Peter, the Underground Game Cat on Parole. Thanks so much, man. Virtual Strangers, what up, Wes? Cerebral Frost. Hell yeah. What's up, man? Guys, fist bump to you. GC13 Time Pepsi Cat. Nihilus Ryan, the Game Feline. Over there. Cobra Triangle.
So Loopy the Underground Game Cat, I think finally clarifies everything with a €10 donation. It says, please rate these PSVR sequels from worst to best. Ready? Moss 2, Vacation Sim, Dick Wild 2, I Expect You to Die 2, Windlands 2.
From worst to best.
I mean, I guess we have to go with Dick Wild 2.
Dick Wild 2. Well,
it's a fun game, but
maybe Vacation Sim.
I like Vacation. I mean, I like all these games. That's the problem. So I think the worst one for me would probably be Dick Wild 2, and then above that is Vacation Sim.
Vacation Sim.
And then what else?
And then we'll say.
They're all good.
I gotta go. Yeah, these are tough because these three are really good games. But I'll go Windlands 2. I Expect You to Die 2 and Moss Book 2. Or no, I'll go I Expect You to Die 2, Windlands 2, Moss 2.
Yeah, that works for me. I don't know. I'm not too picky. They're all great games. So yeah. So starting from the best to the worst, Moss Book 2, I Expect You to Die 2, Windlands 2, Vacation Sim, and Dick Wild 2. You're making us rate games that we like all of, which is great. All right, hey, dude, we got to get out of here. Jesus. Thank you so much, everybody. We love you all.